BS.
We are back from the dead and ready to break some bread. It's I Lovable Baby Boy Brank, one of the hosts of Super BS, podcast about video games mostly. I'm joined by somebody who's been hosting here since day one with me. So despised, so despicable. Reveal yourself to all these people, okay? And don't say your joke.
Well, I do have a question, though. Since day one, we have been breaking bread. Why are we never eating the bread?
We don't believe in carbs here, okay? We are doing an anti-carb diet, but we've got to break that bread together, okay?
Why aren't you baking the bread?
Why are we baking? Yeah, we have to bake bread before we can break it,
Make
right?
some nice garlic bread. Oh,
I believe in the Game of Thrones rules where once you get your bread in the house, they can't kill you, okay? So, and we all know how that works Red Wedding style. Wink. Everybody knows that.
That's that show, right? It's got a really great message about brothers and sisters, right? Is that...
It is. It's about brothers and sisters, and Gandalf's in it, and Dumbledore.
Talk about a Klingon proverb coming to life. That was there you go.
Anyways, I'm Janky Poo Josh here. Just
Janky Josh
Poo.
Ginormous, the gang, and we're joined by the Glass Man. Glass Man, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing.
I just came from Costco.
Besides eating hot dogs.
Costco, everyone. Costco hot dog. Best deal out there.
Oh, man.
Wait, okay.
Best deal out there.
I was going to say, if Gerald tackled that from the side, I think we could go back and argue that a hot dog might actually be a sandwich, but no. He ate it like a hot dog.
Yes, that I did. I'm enjoying every bit of it.
You should eat it like a sandwich.
Hey.
And you should...
Going to Costco, unloading, and loading up Costco in the car and unloading it in 100-degree weather, not fun.
What are you talking about, man? It's cold in Las Vegas.
It's
very cold.
It always snows in
Then why don't you come over here and enjoy and experience the cool minty breeze of Las Vegas?
Oh, man, Las
I'll
Vegas
go
is
where
just
you're at.
chilly...
I'll take me and the family. We'll go where you're at and where you're hanging out.
Yeah.
And you come here.
I don't think you guys would enjoy being in a one-bedroom apartment together. You'd be like, hey, we've lived in a giant place in Las Vegas for a million years. We're not going to go to the small life living that we get over here in sunny Southern California. But it's not too hot. I was out running. It was warm, but not too bad. So why do you get za, or why do you get hot dogs instead of za when you go to Costco? Everybody knows za is the right choice.
Dude, you're out there, you just spent a whole bunch of cash on stuff for the month and a half, 2 months, which my daughters, they go through stuff. It probably is going to last like 3 days. But still, when you go out there, you got to get something on the run. And you can't wait for the pizza. You can't wait for the chicken bake. You can't wait for all that stuff because there's such a crowd there. So you just go, boom, 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 go. They give it to you. You can get through the crowd because all you are is just like they give you the hot dog and the drink and to go. There you go. No time.
It's good, man. But that za is also pretty quick.
You know,
I'll give you that.
Okay. So I lived right next to a Costco, and that was like every time we went to Costco, we'd bring home a giant pizza. All right, mom and dad bring home a giant pizza. But there were days when I did crave that hot dog. You know?
No, never. No one ever has craved a Costco hot dog. They always crave Costco pizza. That's the way it works. That is part of life. Anyways,
but you got to order it in advance. You have to order it in advance, at least a half hour.
You could get just a single slice for $2, whatever it is, $1.99, man. That single slice will tide you over. You don't need more than 2 slices.
Yeah,
I was getting
more than 2
pizza
Costco slices. That's like a whole pizza somewhere.
$10 is a whole pizza there. It's like a huge 16-inch pizza.
I'll need to wait for that. I don't have
time.
Feed a family
order it on
or...
the phone as you go into Costco, and then you pick it up on your way out. It's that simple.
Okay. Well, that's what you should have done. And you're giving yourself advice for what you should have done.
I got a hot dog
didn't
instead.
do it. Okay, well, what have you been playing? Because that's what we all want to know. We don't want to hear about Costco hot dogs and anything else because you didn't get a Nintendo Switch to a Costco, which you should have. But what have you been playing? glass.
Right now, well, I didn't even tell you guys the story. So I finally got into Oblivion. I told you guys that Oblivion Remastered. But you go through as far as the breakout. There's Patrick Stewart there. You go out in the world, create your character, go through your first dungeon that's sitting right there in front of your face. So you're like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. You come out of there. Came out of there. I just saw that. All right, just walking around just a little bit. The first person I see is a knight, a guard on horseback. Just said hello. What's up, man? How you doing? He's walking by. I accidentally looked, and like I was going to pickpocket him. Looked at him like that. Oh, wait, thief! Yeah, obviously he goes after me. So the next 3 hours, I have to end up. Said, okay, if I'm going to go criminal, I'm going to go all criminal. So what I did, I went up and down the road for 3 hours, up and down the main road in Oblivion. I stole his horse because we ran around the dungeon. I ended up stealing his horse. So I'm stealing his horse. We're walking, and I'm just torturing them because he's running. He runs night and day. He's night and day. He's just running. Then he gets another guard to get pissed off at me. So I got 2 guards. I've even got the crabs, the first actual creatures you meet.
I got those.
Yeah, they're like 20 miles in ground. Finally, they're so slow. They're still pissed off at me and trying to catch up. So it turned out like 3 days later in Oblivion game time, I have like 10 people like follow, and also the robbers, the thieves that are trying like on the highway.
Thieves Guild?
Yeah, the highway thieves that are like to the highways. They're all following me. So I had like 10 people following me up for my first 3 hours. So I just kept going back and forth and back and forth. And they're all night and day. Didn't care.
Why didn't you just kill them? Was there a reason why you didn't want to kill them?
It just seemed like it was fun. Just seemed torturing them was
It was
fun.
more fun.
Just torturing people, yeah.
I knew I was going to go to jail
man,
anyways. I'm going to go to jail anyways early on.
Well,
so it's fine. I just said, before I go to jail, I'll just have some fun. There you go.
I mean, I've been calling the cops on you every single week, so we know you're going to jail. We just don't know when yet. So.
But that and I've been playing more emulation games. I got back into some GameCube games, Lord of the Rings. I've been getting back into that.
No, you're playing those legally on the Switch too through the GameCube emulator, so you
I'm not.
3 games.
No, if I did play that on the Switch 2, it would break, because playing Atari 2600 on the Switch 2 might be too much for it. But I'm actually playing it off my computer.
Man. This guy is ripping on the Switch 2. Come on, Glassman, we know you love it. Okay, Jank, Despised One, what have you been playing?
Okay, I'll tell you in a second. First, I want to piggyback on Gerald's Elder Scrolls story. I used to do in Skyrim, like I used to go and I'd shoot the bears and have them follow me into like villages and stuff. Did you ever do that? And you just they just attack.
I've done that.
Where
Where you have creatures and you're just like, okay, what would happen if I just sent him to the middle of town? And then,
did you guys ever do that in Far Cry, where it's actually like intentional?
Not just the guards, but random people will just come and just try to beat on whatever creatures you send over there. The goblins, Josh.
I liked doing that in Far Cry because they would normally have like a tiger cage in Far Cry 4, and you'd shoot
I would do that too. I remember. Yeah. No, but
Skyrim I didn't really mess with a lot of those.
Because in Skyrim, like there were parts that were like I would get attacked by too many people if I wouldn't attack just one person. So I would, much like in Oblivion, I'd get up on like a rock or something and I could just shoot my bow and arrow down over and over again. They would not be able to get me. In Skyrim, I'd go and I'd just lead the animals in and let them take out as many people as they could. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I've just been playing Doom Eternal. I'm on chapter 7 right now. So
you've been parrying all those green attacks.
I have actually. Like that's one of my favorite mechanics in that game.
It's a good game.
It is good. It is a good game. So this is what the one thing about Doom is like. It's not just like a straightforward shooter. You have to. There's different weapons do different things against different enemies. You have the guys with the shields. You have to keep shooting their shields over and over again, and then you toss the shield, your shield, at them, and it explodes. The guys with like the plasma shields, you have to keep shooting it with the purple bullets or whatever they're called. And then you have the hell green hell things, and you got to keep parrying it back at the people. So it's not, it is. You have to think while you're shooting, think while you're playing, and I think that that's one thing that has made it fun. But it is, like I had talked to Branky Poo on the phone. I said it is very repetitive. Like it's just the same thing over and over and over again. They do have a tiny bit of a story in this one, but for the most part, it's just been rinse and repeat, which is fine. I mean, I can play it without having to think about it. But there are a few puzzle elements that have been interesting. But I'll probably finish playing it. It doesn't take a lot of effort or time for me to play it, so it's it's been kind of.
Do you care about the story? Sorry about cutting you off. That game has so much emphasis on the story compared to Doom and Doom Eternal,
which is weird because there isn't a lot of story. So it just goes to show like Doom.
Also, it's just not. It's so cheesy. It's like the cheesiest story ever. It's like the Doom guy or whatever they call him. I forgot they have a name for him, right?
The Slayer.
And they're like, don't let the Slayer out or whatever.
Or Doom the Dark Ages?
Sorry, I keep calling it
sorry.
Doom Eternal for some reason. Doom the Dark Ages.
Yeah, I didn't catch it at the beginning. Thank you, Glassman.
I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep getting those confused.
In-depth story.
No,
sorry.
I think
that's
the
my bad.
In-depth story was like single player or what level? What?
I mean, and honestly, I prefer that. I really think if you don't have an interesting story to tell in a single-player first-person shooter, don't tell one.
Yeah.
Literally. It's way better. I think if your game is not Halo and it's a first-person shooter, you better have a great story if you want us to actually care about it. Yeah. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just let us play and have fun. Yeah. Because that's why, people go to shooters. Anything else before I get to some of the madness that I've been playing?
No, nothing else. I do want to, finish talking about Doom for a second.
More about Doom.
No, I mean,
even more than that.
More.
How are you gonna?
I think that game, like, I would love to play that game with like a 4-player co-op mode, but I mean, it seems like it'd be prime to have that. Like, how much fun would it be to, just to fight like hordes of bad guys with your friends, but
That may be kind of a little bit too much, though. There's so many enemies on screen. Like, I feel like it would be fun, but at the same time, like, I think it'd be pandemonium. I think it'd be like literally the most chaos.
But that's what makes it. That's what would make it cool, though.
I mean, I guess, but I also feel like you'd play it, and then like 1 hour later, you'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore. It'd essentially be like Dynasty Warriors, right? Like Dynasty Warriors co-op, great, 2 people, a lot of fun because you and 1 friend. If you threw 4 people in Dynasty Warriors and you had 4 of those crazy attacks going off, killing 1,000 guys at a time, and your
the processing power that would
it's
take.
Just like I don't know. I just feel like you'd be like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to look at
maybe
this
on the next Xbox, man.
Maybe the next Xbox with the power of the cloud, they'll be able to finally do co-op multiplayer Doom.
Exactly.
No, man, I think it's a good game. I don't know if I'm going to go back. We talked about it a few weeks ago, right when it came out. I played it for probably about an hour back then. Glassman, did you ever go back to it or no?
No, I didn't. Maybe when I re-up my Game Pass, I will go back to it a little bit more. It's fine. It's fun for what it is. I played a few hours of it, but it's not something like Avowed, which the gameplay hooked me. It hooked me, and just it was something I thought about even when I wasn't playing. Not the story, not anything involving there. It was just the gameplay and how it hooked me. I didn't get that same kind of hook with the shield. Again, remember I said I think it just doesn't provide you enough as far as ammunition for the gun because it's asking you to rely on the shield as your predominant weapon. And I like it, but I don't love it. And I think, like I said, when I re-up my Game Pass, I will be going back to it for just a little while longer. But I don't even know if I'm going to finish it then. Because, again, it just didn't give me the hook that I needed.
Yeah, I kind of feel similarly. I feel like it's good, but there's too much else right now. And honestly, I've been like slipping into this weird going back in time. I've entered a time portal. Right now, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Because I've never finished that and I'm nearing the end. And I went back to Cyberpunk 2077 because I bought the DLC, which I can never remember what it's called. Phantom Freedom?
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace. Oh, what is it?
Is that what we're thinking of?
Phantom Liberty. Phantom Liberty. So I went back to that. That's pretty fun too. But I finished Expedition 33 about a week ago. Really cool. I will say they have a narrative twist without getting into it that happens at about like probably the 15, 20 hour mark.
Yeah, I saw it, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the type of twist that this game employs. So for me, the story really took a downhill turn for the third act.
Wanted to ask you this,
because
though.
I don't like those.
I want to ask you something really, really important when it comes to this game. Should Robert Pattinson sue?
Sue.
It's a facial.
It doesn't look anything like him. It looks exactly like Charlie Cox. Okay, I don't know if you've ever seen
like
Daredevil.
I'd say a little bit of Twilight there. Yeah, I think so.
It looks
like
more like Charlie Cox. It's just the eyes and the.
I think that the hair on that looks more like Robert Pattinson to me. But that's just saying.
Right.
Well, how about they both sue? There you go.
How about everyone sues them, even though Charlie Cox was paid to be in it? He'll sue too, just for fun. No, I think Expedition 33 is a phenomenal indie RPG. Crazy first hit out of the park. First knock like out of the park for their first game. No, it's just wild how good it is. But that really the story, which I felt was like the most intriguing part, did lose me in the third half to the point where it's like, or the third act where I didn't do a lot of the side content. I did all the character missions that you can do, but there is probably like 15 dungeons I didn't even attempt because the gameplay was so difficult, and it's like I didn't see any value.
Which system did you play it
in
on?
Doing Xbox. I played through Game Pass. I am gonna probably buy a physical version of it to support them. I don't know if I'm gonna get on Xbox or PlayStation, but I really do like the game, and I do kind of want to put my money where my mouth is.
From what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm waiting. I'm waiting for. Yeah, it's crazy. I wish I saw it early on. I'm like, man, I should have got one. But really what I'm here to talk about is the actual game of the year, which is Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. And if you're not playing Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo, you are missing out on life. It is a top-down 2D Game Boy Advance style Zelda game. And if you like Zelda and you like a Minish Cap or a Link Between Worlds or
what if
that
we
stuff,
hate both of those things?
If you hate it, you probably won't like this game.
Okay.
But I found it to be incredibly fun because it has a mix of like Metroidvania elements where it's like you can go to any dungeon you want and you'll get different moves that you can pick up that will help you for that dungeon, and then they'll help you accomplish more things in like the overworld because there's like a city. But it also is kind of a little bit like Earthbound, that like quirky RPG on the Super Nintendo where all the characters are a little silly. Everything's kind of a little bit off. And they've got a really fun economy system where you're collecting money, and that money can be used to upgrade these badges you can equip, or create blueprints, or you can use the money when you get a power in the game. What happens is you get the power immediately, but there's like a curse that you get with it until you pay back that amount, and you can't just pay it off. You have to collect the money, and then all the money that you collect, 50% of it goes to pay off this power. So if it's like $1,300, you have to collect $2,600 in the game before that curse ends, before you get just the perks. So there's a lot of really fun systems.
What happens if you don't, though? What happens if you don't? Do you die?
You just have the negative. No, you just have the negative like effect. So one example is like you want to get more badge points, which allow you to equip more badges, right? Say you want to get the 3 badge point one. Well, your attack is down by 4, and you only have like 8 attack on a high attack character. So it's like if you spend a lot of time building your attack. So it's like, yeah, if you're down 4, then you're doing half damage. But like it's only while you're earning that money. The second you earn all the money, your attack goes back to normal, and you keep the perk, if that makes sense. So it's a pretty fun like risk reward little upgrade system. I personally have been having so much fun. I'm probably about 8 hours into it. I might be wrapping it up pretty soon. Kind of just going around doing whatever. It really took over after Expedition 33. I was kind of mainlining Fantasy Life I can't not play Pipistrello on Steam Deck. I can't not play Pipistrello nonstop because it is very good. And it's on everything. It's on Switch and Xbox and PlayStation, Steam Deck. And you should play it on Steam Deck. So yeah, it's really, really good.
What's a Steam Deck? Can you
Yeah, let me just tell you a little bit about our Lord and Savior, Gabe Newell, and the Steam Deck, who is coming to save you. Speaking of Steam Decks, though, Microsoft has announced that they're no longer going to be going after that, or not announced, I guess the rumor is. They're no longer going to be doing the, their one they're creating, I guess,
they said that delayed,
it's like on the back burner now.
It. The word is that they delayed. The rumor is that they've delayed development on that, but they have not canceled what they have.
But what I don't understand is where are they delaying it to? It was already a 2027 estimated come out. I mean, like 2030. I mean, is Xbox going to be doing hardware at that point?
Again, that's all I've heard is that they've delayed it from several reports out there, but they're also going to focus in on Rogue Ally. The
ROG Ally one that's coming out supposedly this year.
That's going to have features that will accentuate Xbox Game Pass, which, again, should have me interested.
You guys, we might have talked about this already, but you see that they're already putting Game Pass, the app, on the LG TVs?
I don't know about LG. I knew it was on Samsung and a few others.
If you have an LG TV that is from 2022 or later, the Xbox Game Pass app is available on there.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out. They said the same thing about the Samsung, and I don't have that. I have a 2022 Samsung TV, and I got to call them. I got to call Samsung or Microsoft to figure it out, or maybe I have to just go off of.
Just call Phil, man. Just be like, "Hey, Phil, figure this out for me,
please," because I want to play Game Pass on my Samsung.
I mean, do you really want to do it though? You have a Series X. Like, do you really want to play
my Series
on?
X is in here. I don't have to drag my Series X out into the living room where my bigger TV.
Okay. I just feel like. So I started using, I think we talked about it last time, I got a PS Portal a long time ago to sell. It's now lost most of its value, so I opened and used it. And it's a pretty cool streaming device.
How does your Steam Deck feel about
this? What?
How does your Steam Deck feel about this? Like a scorned lover?
My Steam Deck's pissed, man. It is not, it's like, my bed's cold at night. Let's just put that way. The PS Portal, anyways, it's just like not as good because you're just streaming stuff. I'm not like against Xbox Game Pass. I think it's awesome. I think for people who don't really care about the console experience, games like To a T, that new game from the guy who creates Katamari Damacy that came out on Game Pass just last week, where you're a character who's stuck in a T pose and you have to figure out how to do stuff. I think that's great for Xbox Game Pass Cloud. Do I think you're going to be playing like Halo Infinite multiplayer shooting on there? I think that's going to be a pretty bad experience. Anything with like lag that has multiplayer stuff. I think it's a neat feature. I'm curious if it will move the needle at all. Because if you remember, Google Stadia's whole vision was getting the non-gamers, getting the people who didn't want to pay any money for a box, right? They're just like, hey, people just buy the games directly from us, and they'll stream it anywhere they want. We all know how that worked out.
Yeah, I mean, the big difference here, though, is the Google Stadia did not have a lot of developers in studios that were backing it. Like, Xbox owns a ton of studios, so they have to back it no matter what.
Oh, I'm not against the feature. I'm just saying I don't know if it's going to move the needle like I think Microsoft is hoping. Yeah. I could be wrong, right? Like, I just personally think the people who like games, they still care enough about fidelity. They still care enough about playing stuff. I don't know if any console game has got the iPhone market yet. Yeah. And those are the only people I think who would be like, I'm fine with something that's super janky and has lag and all this stuff,
that's
right?
That's not true, though. Again, I play a lot of cloud gaming when I did have Game Pass. So I did play a lot on cloud gaming. I didn't want to tie up my hard drive, so I did go cloud gaming. I rarely had problems with any game that I booted up there. It worked for me, and it worked for me fine. It was fluid. I didn't have lag issues or something I didn't notice, per se.
Okay.
I didn't play a lot of online multiplayer, but I sort of trended towards campaigns and things of that nature. Like, for instance, Avowed. Avowed, I played entirely off the cloud. So, you tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not opposed, and I think it's good.
Partially on the cloud. I did download it halfway through. I liked it so much. I try out games on the cloud, like Doom. Yeah, Doom: The Dark Ages. Cloud. Yeah. I play the cloud, and if I really like it, then I'll download it. So.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said about that. I think it's a great feature. I just am curious if it actually will do anything for Game Pass numbers, right? Like, I'm curious if random Joe Blow on the street sees, hey, I could play Halo on my TV if I pay $20 a month, right? Will they actually go do that?
Well, you know,
that's the thing I don't know, and I have no stats.
The answer is no. Well, the answer is no, because as Josh and I have talked about over the years, with me, myself, when I've talked to TJ, anybody on the Cosmos, they don't promote it at all. And I'll leave it at that. Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, like, one of the biggest features of the cloud that does not work, that drives me nuts, is the local co-op play.
Oh, really?
So
local co-op play doesn't work when you play cloud stuff?
It never works on the cloud. Like, you keep clicking, you can click on co-op, and it never does anything. So that's one thing that, like, really irritates me, because I want to test games out with my kids, and I have to sit there and install it before it'll actually work. And this is the same thing on PC and the Xbox. You have to actually install it to access that co-op feature.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Like
but yeah,
Fiction?
I mean,
So yeah, Split Fiction, Borderlands, like all that. When Borderlands was on Game Pass, but yeah,
everybody's got to play Borderlands, man.
No,
Borderlands is the number one game.
I mean, even like Forza Motorsport, like all the local co-op stuff, you can't access any of it.
Yeah, it's an interesting feature, right? I just personally, I'm curious if I just am very curious right now, especially with all of Microsoft's moves to like essentially end exclusivity and a lot of stuff where it's like they are in my opinion, Microsoft's in the best position it's ever been in, probably since the beginning of the 360. They have the most first-party studios. They have the most games coming out. And instead of like, hey, you know what, we're going to be real competitors and start making this a console market where people would be like, hey, I'll choose an Xbox because it has the games I want. Instead of like, hey, we're putting all the games on everything, or you can come to Game Pass. That's fine with me. I'm just curious if it's doing anything. Because if you saw, the top-selling games on PlayStation are Microsoft games. So obviously those people aren't moving anywhere to get the game. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem to be moving the needle, right? And maybe this is what they want. Maybe it's their cake and eat it too, right? Like, hey, we got all our money for Game Pass. Just the thing is with, and we should talk about predictions and stuff today.
Oh, yeah.
With Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Showcase coming up, it is interesting to be like, there's probably gonna be PlayStation games at the Xbox Game Showcase from Xbox first-party publishers in like the weirdest move we've ever seen. And I would be kind of more surprised if we don't see like a Master Chief Collection on Switch 2 or PlayStation, because those have been rumored for a while now. It's a weird time. It's a weird time for every console. I just feel like specifically Microsoft's in an extra strange space because it's been killing it this year with content. Yeah. It just doesn't feel like their hardware is in the same area to the point where it's like, do I even get an Xbox next generation?
That's what
depending on what things look.
Is this though an advertisement for one last ditch effort by Xbox to go ahead and say, you know what, from this point forward, we're going to go with our new console here, but it's going to have exclusive software for it. See all that stuff you've been playing on PlayStation 5 and whatnot. That's all. The sequels are all going to just be exclusive on our new console.
If they do that, I think that'd be great. I personally think that would be the smartest move.
That's what. I was like,
yeah.
Is that
that's what Sony...
They won't do that.
Yeah, they won't do that.
No,
yeah.
No evil plans. No. Oh, that stinks. Oh well. Okay.
No, the
funny
thing
is,
I think
just say it's what I do.
It's what Sony and a bunch of other people have done, right? They literally buy up exclusives for popular games, and they got the sequel. That happened tons of times. Think about Final Fantasy, right? Final Fantasy was never on Xbox. Xbox finally got the ability for Final Fantasy 13. They were able to keep 13 and 15, and then drought.
They didn't regret that at
Final
all,
Fantasies.
I just say I just say that, hey, you guys got a taste of what Microsoft is all about. Our new console's coming out. Let's say it's 2027 per se. Let's say 2027. You've had a taste of Microsoft exclusive, all that stuff for past couple of years. You want Call of Duty now from this point forward? You want Elder Scrolls 6? You want all this good stuff? You're going to have to come on over to the dark side.
Hey, actually, on this topic, though, it's funny. So I was talking to Big Dog, who both of you guys know.
Big dog.
Big Dog, ruff, ruff. No, but he called me the other day, and he was like, what did he say? He said, he goes, the gaming is getting into a really weird space. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I never in a million years thought that I would be able to play God of War on Xbox. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, I guess there's something about
emulation.
Steam. Well, not emulation, but Steam being available on Xbox platforms or something, right? Was that? You guys know anything about that? Is that
the only thing I know is that if you have an Xbox 360 and a copy of Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, you can soft boot it without having to go into the whole software, the OS system. You can actually go in there and make an emulation available, playable, just off of utilizing the Tony Hawk American Wasteland game. That's why the price.
That's interesting.
So okay, hold on. So
that game has gone.
So this is what he meant. So they're trying to find a way to install the Steam app on future Xbox or on current Xbox consoles.
Yeah, I mean, so that is the interesting thing, right? Like the truth is, are we ever going to get another Xbox, like a pure Xbox, like the Xbox we know today? I don't know, but if you guys remember, about 10 years ago, Valve did this thing where they created something called the Steam Box. It failed miserably because Valve's not the best at marketing their hardware. They're a really good company with a lot of things, but they're just not very good at marketing their hardware, right? And so the Steam Box came out. It was really confusing. They had tons of different SKUs. It was all like madness. But there is a real possibility where Valve and Microsoft combine and make essentially a PC. An easy-to-use PC that has maybe a hub or two on it, and that's it. It's not the full Windows suite. You don't have to have a mouse and a keyboard to access it. They make it like the Steam Deck, where you can do every single thing on the actual control pad, right?
Yeah.
So is that a cool idea? Yeah, I'd love to see that. Do I think we're going to get it? No. Because, I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was 2013 or 2010, Valve came out on like a PlayStation showcase and was like, hey, Steam is now on PlayStation. You could sign into Steam and see your friends. That was it. So it's like Steam, everything's still walled off. I would be really, really, really surprised if we get a future where Microsoft and Steam work together. Do I think it's a great idea? Yeah. Do either of them need to work together though? No. They're both huge companies that make tons of money.
But they're the only two companies out of all like Microsoft is the only company out of both of the other gaming platforms that is actually willing to work with Steam, which is really interesting. Or Valve, I mean. Yeah,
I mean, you could be right there. I don't know. I mean, PlayStation was willing to work with Valve years ago. I don't know if there's I don't know if that's changed or whatever, right? But I just feel like Microsoft's in the craziest space. But because we have like a lot to go over, before we get to some predictions, what's your guys' hype level for Switch 2? Gerald, is it just like your midnight playing Mario Kart World for 4 hours
actually,
until 4 a.m.?
I have less than zero. I think there was an old movie called that, Less Than Zero. But I wanted to ask you this.
Less than $0 because he spent them all on the Switch 2.
Like I won't, at least for a couple of years. Check back with me in 2032. I want to ask this, though. On the eve of Nintendo Switch 2, how well, sales-wise, do you see it doing? I mean, the Nintendo Switch is probably
this year or the
depends
day?
on how many pre-orders don't get canceled.
Is probably going to go down. It hasn't passed yet, PlayStation 2. Is it the biggest selling of all time?
It's hard. They keep switching the PlayStation 2 lifetime sales as Sony keeps moving the needle up every time Nintendo Switch gets close.
The PlayStation 2 probably still sell it down in South America and Brazil. I remember, at the latter end of the active lifestyle span for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, people by the droves would be coming into Las Vegas from South America, Brazil, whatnot, because of the customs, because of the fees when you buy it in their own country, that they would go ahead and buy hordes of game consoles and electronics like that just to ship on out there. So
exporting is nuts in South America.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, I think they're saying this PS2 is 155 million units sold. and Switch 1 I want to say is already 151 million.
Oh, yeah,
so it's realistically gonna pass the PS2 in its lifetime.
And once I know Walmart is already bringing down the price of it. I know that Nintendo probably will advertise it through at least one more or two more quarters, like, that, hey, with Switch 2 is this price. Don't forget the Switch 1 is now at this magical price, or the Switch Lite, what have you.
And
do you think, though,
they have games dated for 2026?
Yeah.
You know that for Switch 1. They had that Switch 1 Direct. They still have big first-party games for Switch 1.
EA and other third parties, they'll support it for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, probably.
Yeah.
So my question to you guys is, since I don't have an interest in it,
what are you talking about? You love it.
Secretly,
well, only to resell. Yeah, I mean, have you got one? I can buy it
Secret lover.
and resell.
every episode, Gerald hides the Nintendo Switch 2 posters with the Oblivion and Halo and Dirt, Mass Effect back there. He changes it. I can't let him see it, and he puts them back up.
Drake. He's right there, right behind Shepard. But how well do you think this will sell? Do you think this will outsell the Switch 1? I do not.
Lifetime or just at launch?
Lifetime, maybe. Not at launch.
It's so
dollar-wise,
it's so hard to predict.
Dollar-wise, it could.
Everything's more expensive, but it's also everything's more expensive. So for it, including the console itself, so you have to really take that into consideration.
Dollar-wise, it's $200 more than a regular Switch one.
150. Yeah, 300 versus 450. I mean, I agree with you to some extent. I do think it's going to be selling very well. I think it will surpass PS5 sales, just because of what it can do, and it's Nintendo. I think it's 50 million, so I think it will surpass that at some point.
I think it'll do between 50 and 100. I think it'll.
But I think Switch is a lightning in a bottle, man. I mean, if you remember during COVID when people couldn't really go outside, they were selling out of that stuff everywhere. Oh, yeah. Like I knew people who didn't even really game who were asking me, like, how can I get a Switch? Because they want to play Animal Crossing, because that was every single thing on the internet, right? So it's like, you have stuff like that, which are historical events. It's hard to compete.
Well, Nintendo
right?
has
I don't think we're going to see that
fan base, just like Apple. I mean, you could introduce a Nintendo toaster and it would sell millions because it has that hardcore base. The question is, because of its increased price by so much, and who knows, it might even get increased price again, because PlayStation 5 has increased its price, 2-3 times since its original announcement?
I don't know,
and
but
same thing with
it
Xbox,
feels like it has
same thing
increased price
with both Xbox. It could do that again. How... it's not the hardcores that work. The hardcores will find any which way to buy a Switch 2. The question is, the casual audience, what is the market going to be like for the casual audience that are, like grandma buying it for her grandson, or dad buying it for their kids, mom buying it for their kids, stuff like that. What is the market for that now at this increased price? Is there still going to be a long lifespan similar to what we're seeing to Switch 2, or a large enough lifespan? I think it's still a win if they go above 75, 80 million, which I definitely think it will. The question is, will it go 100, 125? Will it have the same kind of legs that the Switch does? That's my question.
Yeah, it's really hard to predict, and right now we don't know, because Mario Kart obviously is a juggernaut. It's the highest selling game on the original Switch. But for me and a lot of hardcore gamers, it's not the game that we were the most excited about, right? Like when they announced Mario Kart World was the launch.
Is it for a great percentage? I mean, that's like Wii Sports. Wii Sports is one of the biggest, Wii games of the entire console lifetime, because it's a package.
But I'm just saying, though, like, there are probably gamers out there who, not that they dislike Mario Kart, but are like, I don't need to get a Switch 2, right? Whereas most people who wanted to, I'm a big Zelda fan. Most people are like, I want to play Breath of the Wild. I did not have a Wii U. I sold my Wii U earlier because that was not a good console, and I wanted to be able to play it, right? I don't feel like the Switch 2 has, so far, anything this year outside of maybe like Metroid Prime 4 that would convince a random person who just likes video games, even a Nintendo fan, to be like, I have to play this. I mean, maybe there's some Mario Kart diehards, right? Like, I love Mario Kart. As long as they have some unlockables, I'll definitely like 100% or at least play a ton of the game. But I just don't think it holds the sway with the hardcore gamer, if you will. It's more of like, the easy to play with your family and friends, the Mario Party like. So,
yeah.
Okay, let's do some predictions. We'll do them together because by the next time
I didn't hear Josh's thoughts.
record,
does he think how well does he think it will sell over the course of his lifetime?
Yeah, like I said, I don't know because it could sell just as many consoles and games as the Switch One.
You were sure of $1 billion for Minecraft there, my friend.
I was close. I was really close. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, but as we talked about before, like the gaming landscape has changed. Like people are buying less, consuming less. So
yep.
I think that I'm saying I don't think it's going to outsell the Switch One. The Switch One is such an amazing console for the time and what came out with it. Will it get close? Maybe, but again, it's just everything's more expensive. So this is a wild card, and it's going to be really hard to tell until we're several weeks into the launch itself, and we start seeing some numbers.
Yeah, I'm curious, but yeah, I think it is a hard question to answer. I think this year it's going to easily be the top selling console, but what does that mean? Xbox isn't moving a lot, and I don't think PlayStation is selling that many either.
No.
Okay, so the thing you've all been waiting for. I say we each give what do you think? 3 predictions for either the Summer Game Fest, Xbox Showcase, or any summer game thing. Supposedly there's a Sony State of Play, and there might be a Nintendo Direct. There normally is. Just predict
Xbox
what
too.
you think.
It's an Xbox?
Xbox, yeah, the Xbox Showcase.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 big ones, is the Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Showcase. But I'm saying there may be a Sony State of Play as well as a Nintendo Direct. So we'll go around the horn. We'll start with the despised one, Jank. Each give us one of your predictions for what's going to happen on Friday or Sunday or sometime this week in terms of game and news.
Oh my gosh! All right, so I think we're gonna get this. My first one's a cheat one, but also I really like this series, so I think we're gonna get. I think we're gonna see the next Forza Horizon this year.
Oh, okay. Do you think it's gonna come out this year or not?
I think it's gonna come out in October.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow! I actually would love that. Forza Horizon 5 is one of my favorite games from 2021, which I think is the other best Xbox year.
Yeah, I actually, you kept setting, your records kept showing up on my game, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta knock this thing out of the park.
It's such a fun game.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. I think if I had to poke one critique at the Forza games is it gets samey after a while, kind of do the same races. But when enough time has passed, it's like, hey, I'll do this again. This is pretty fun. Just go from race to race, unlocking stuff.
Let me ask you a question though. Where would you want it to take place? What country?
Ooh. You know what? I'm always a big fan of Asia. I know it would never happen in China, even though I think that would be more geographically diverse than Japan. But I think Japan would be fine too. I think they've already done the UK, and they've done Europe with Forza Horizon 2. They did Australia. I guess the only thing they could do, and I think they already did with Forza Horizon 1, is the US, because that's also geographically
it's just
diverse.
Colorado, yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with wherever. I will say Mexico was not my first choice, but ended up being a really cool place.
Yeah.
And while I thought I'd love UK more, I actually think I preferred the Mexico setting versus the Forza Horizon 4 setting.
I would love either Japan or Canada. I think Canada would be a really cool setting.
Yeah. Canada be cool, man. Yeah. Anywhere with some snow, but you also have like green areas and lots of mountains, I think always makes it pretty interesting. Yeah. They had that in Mexico because when they make these, they don't make it like exactly like something. That's why I say just choose a place and then like create your weird biome, right? Like, do you guys remember The Crew where you could race across all of America?
Right. Yeah.
Like just have like that silly idea, right? Where it's like, obviously this doesn't make any sense. You can't drive here in 5 seconds, but it's fun. Glassman, before we get to your prediction, if Forza Horizon comes out, is there anywhere you want to see it set in?
That's a good question. I would do Europe.
Europe again?
Yeah, I would do Europe, even a more detailed Europe. Just me. I would like to see it go through.
Yeah.
Even that, because U.S. done, Europe. Again, I liked what I saw for Forza Horizon 5. I'd like to see him go there. But although, because you stole my Asia idea, I think that would be a good place. South America.
Yeah.
Australia?
Yeah, they already did Australia with 3.
Yeah, that's
that was an interesting one. Yeah, and they did Italy with 2, and Forza Horizon 4 was UK, and then one you said was Colorado, right, Josh?
Yeah, they did. That was the first one.
Yeah, for me, I mean,
Cali. Cali is like
California would be great.
I mean, California has the different from San Diego to all the way going up north. You can encounter all the different various things.
In the one in the UK, they spanned multiple places. So like if
they do like Ireland as well.
They could just do one in the US in general, and it wouldn't be like just driving through Colorado. You'd have the West Coast all the way to the East Coast. They just make it smaller.
Yeah, I'm okay with wherever they want to set it. I just want to make it good. And I do think if they do the idea like they did for the UK and for Mexico, where they just kind of create a biome more than a place, right? And it's set in like a zone, but it's not really like 1-to-1, right? Like this doesn't need to be GTA 5 where it's like, hey, that was fun to see that spot in Santa Monica. I don't care about that. If you want to do like big spots, like big points and landmarks, great. Otherwise, just like make it a fun, diverse map. That's way more important. Glassman, what's a prediction you have for anything that's going to happen this weekend?
For allowed 3, I'm going to do one for each of the major console manufacturers. Let's start with.
So what are you going to do?
Let's start
Kick
with
it off.
PlayStation. We are going to see. We are going to see a more extended trailer, and we're going to get a release date for the Wolverine game for the PlayStation.
Oh, I thought that had just faded into Oblivion. Not Elder Scrolls, but
it's in Oblivion. Yeah, so they added
just a guess, throwing it out there, but it's been quiet for a while. It's been dormant, so many speculate it's going to be a PS6 title, but we'll see.
I have a feeling we're going to see another Spider-Man before Wolverine is done.
It's funny because like Wolverine's been in the burner for a long time, and Insomniac is relatively quick. They're one of the fastest developers when it comes to making games. I mean, they released Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, and Spider-Man 2 within a 4-year window, right? They're just they do a lot. They put out a lot of games. Obviously, the world's changed. Everybody's remote working. Things are slower. But yeah, Wolverine is a game where it's like, I'm kind of surprised it's not on the docket for this year. Like, I'm kind of surprised we're not, like, playing it. Spider-Man was 2 years ago, and they've been working on a Wolverine back when they announced Spider-Man 2, So, it's a weird one. I'd love to see it, though. I believe that team will make a fun game. Do I think it's going to be a 10 out of 10 game of the year? No, but I like playing all of their games. All of their games are always fun for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, for me, I'm going to do a prediction. Which this is going to be really, I was trying to think about like, what am I actually predicting? Because this year is like, it feels less exciting. I feel like that's a sad thing to say, but I'm less excited for all the showcases. And maybe it's just because they've told us what's coming out with Ghost of Yotei and all the other stuff that's coming out. I am guessing or predicting that we are going to see from Microsoft Gears of War E-Day, which will be scheduled for next year. Fable, which will be scheduled for next year. A new Halo teaser, which will be scheduled for 2 to 3 years out. And Perfect Dark, which will also be scheduled for next year.
Took all my...
I do.
All right,
oh, sorry.
I'll see you later.
I was just.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just mean Microsoft is.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was the? I didn't hear the last one. My computer
Perfect Dark.
Perfect
Dark for 2026. They're all their games are going to be far out. So, and we know the Gears of War 1 remake's coming out in August. So I truly think Xbox has like this weird gap this year, and I don't know what it would be. Your Forza Horizon guess is good, but I'm hoping that, and this is probably too soon, I'm hoping we get Wolfenstein 3. I'm hoping Machine Games had 2 teams. It's been a long time since Wolfenstein 2 came out. Indiana Jones was incredible last year. I would love there to be that. Either that or that Dragon RPG that was supposedly in development.
Scalebound. Yeah, it's funny.
No, not Scalebound. The other fantasy one that's like been rumored from, I want to say IO Interactive, the people who make Hitman. They have an Xbox exclusive.
They've got James Bond coming out here in.
Yeah, they have
they have James Bond, but they also have a
fantasy
fantasy game. Do you guys remember that one? No.
Let me
Okay.
see, hold on.
Anyways, they announced it. Project Fantasy. They announced it probably 2 or 3 years ago. Not as like an announcement. Sorry, it was a rumor, and then it came out in those court leaks. So, Microsoft has an exclusive deal with a game from the Hitman developers. So not only are they making James Bond, they have another game that's in development as well. That's an Xbox exclusive. So maybe we'll see that, right? Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a weird one. So sorry, I did a lot there to get around to saying, like, I don't know. My prediction's going to be we'll see that Project Fantasy, and we're going to see a lot of 2026, 2027s this year. I do not think we're going to see close to any 2025s. I'm hoping we get Wolfenstein 3 or something.
They've had a pretty active year to this point. More than anyone.
I agree with you. But that's why you normally don't want to clump all your games together in 2 months like they decided to do. So you have interesting stuff coming out throughout the year, right? Like the bummer with the way they decided to do their release cycle was Avowed, South of Midnight, Oblivion, Doom, The Dark Ages, and then they had co-marketing with Expedition 33. They have all this cool stuff, and they put it in like the smallest window. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
We now have nothing to look forward to. Gears of War remake? That's kind of it, you know?
Again.
So I'm hoping they have some surprise.
What do you guys think Halo wise? Do you think I know we're not going to get a Halo like anytime soon, but do you think they have to like? You think they're going to at least like put a teaser out and let us know? Because
2027.
He called all the active IPs for Xbox and just did his blanket prediction. So when it comes to fruition,
but I mean more specifically, yeah.
That's like going to the roulette. That's like going to the roulette wheel and saying, "I'm going to bet one on red, I'm going to bet one on black, and I'm going to bet one on green in the middle." There you go. All right, got my bases entirely covered.
But then what if it's 0-0? Then I lose. Okay,
I'm gonna make a bold prediction.
That's the green, so you'll win.
You can't do a green. You have to either choose 0 or 0-0. Do you play roulette?
Jeez, I'm gonna make a PlayStation one. I'm gonna say we're gonna see a new Gex game because I saw Limited Run Games is repackaging Gex 1 through 3.
Dude, that'd be so much fun if they do that.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't be doing something like that unless there's something in the pipeline. So this may just be a dream, but I feel like I can feel it, man. I feel like there's something Gexy coming out here.
Well, I will say Gex Trilogy comes out June 16th. So if they do show it at the Summer Games Fest, that'd be funny because it comes out later.
Not the trilogy, but something new.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I know a new Gex title, but it would be funny if they do show that off.
Because think about it. Sorry, no, I mean to interrupt you, but think about like PlayStation. There's been nothing. There's nothing. They haven't talked about anything for a long time. I mean.
So the rumor that everyone else has is more Astrobot content, which, hey, I'm all for. I love that game. That's like one of my favorite games from last year. The other speculation is the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. But
we know that that's happening. We don't.
But they haven't shown the trailer yet. They haven't given us a date. And supposedly they're closer to 3 than they were from 1 to 2. And anyways, I'm wishing that with you that we get a fun platformer, right? Like Sony needs to diversify their portfolio. And I've been saying this actually now for quite some time. They've been making the same game since like 2000 and probably 12 or 13. They've been making that over-the-shoulder, third-person, action-adventure game. You walk, there's a lot of talking, then there's some action, then you go through a story. It's great, but they need to go back to PlayStation 1, making these random, funny, ridiculous games that are fun. Ape Escape is still one of my favorite games. I've replayed that game. Why have they never touched that one?
They're constantly referencing that in other games, but they never go back to it.
It's the Astrobot developers who made it, so that's why. They're the only people left in Sony who are making those fun games, so they can only make one at a time. Glassman, what do you have to predict?
Since I'm still thinking about the Xbox One because you covered every active IP.
All I said was they're not going to come out this year. That's all I said.
No,
I did
but
not
you covered
say...
all of them that they're going to showcase it or show a trailer or do something like that. So it's like, okay. Because I was like, oh, I was going to do Fable. Oh, you hit Fable. I was like, okay, we'll do that. No, so you just covered the entire basis for everything. So you're going to look right when it comes to Xbox, whatever they do or whatever they're announcing. Told you.
I could be wrong.
I told you. I'm going to go.
Well, I will say that, and I will mock you like that. I'll say I told you exactly like a mockingbird.
I started with I think I said PlayStation first, so I will do Nintendo. I'm gonna do
Okay.
Nintendo and say that we're gonna hear an announcement on a
Switch 3.
No, I wish.
We-
Maybe I'll be interested in that when that comes out. I'm gonna say
How funny would it be if they just called it Switch 3 instead, because they're like, people think Switch 2 is not powerful enough. So they're like, hey, we're also selling you Switch 3 now. It's $470. That's supposed to be more for people like you who don't believe in the Switch 2.
I'm gonna say they're gonna announce a new Splatoon.
Oh man, you are probably so right, and I could care less, or I couldn't care less. I do not care about the Splatoon games at all.
Seems to have its
I've
crowd.
tried playing them. What's that?
Seems to have its crowd.
It has a lot of, it's very popular in Japan, and they've made 3 of them in a short succession of time. I just don't, it's not for me, man. But you're probably right. I mean, that's a game that I could definitely see them launching this year still. They could announce it this summer and have it out by this fall. And because it's always the same game, very small single player story, maybe, 4 hours, and then a multiplayer suite. And the multiplayer suite never changes, and it's normally 6 maps or some small amount like that. Now, if people listen to the show who hated or who like Splatoon, they'd probably come and complain that I'm being too negative, but it really isn't that impressive of a game. So yeah, but you're probably right. That's probably gonna be something to do. There is something that I'm gonna predict that neither of you got. That's also Xbox related.
Gerald, you ready to shut this down for the night? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh man. There is one deal that was made that we found out during the FTC trials where Toys for Bob bought their freedom back, but right after buying their freedom back and becoming independent, they signed to make a game exclusive for Xbox. We are going to see that game
Spyro
finally.
Dragon. Is it Spyro?
You're probably right, but I'm gonna be praying it's Banjo. I am gonna hope that we finally get
I like 'em both.
Banjo,
All right.
man. Like Banjo-Kazooie is probably, with Mario 64, one of my favorite collectathon platformers ever. I've actually replayed it several times. Banjo-Kazooie is not as good, and then when they did Nuts and Bolts, and it was so different, I just had a hard time getting involved with it and playing a lot of it.
Yeah.
I would love to see what Toys for Bob does, because they did such an incredible job with those remasters of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and I didn't really play much of Crash 4, but that was also great.
Yeah.
Okay, Jank, hit it home. Okay, this is the last prediction of the world.
Well, what
World's
about me?
ending after this.
I get a third?
No, you and I are done. We only get 2, man. No, yeah, we'll get 3. We'll get 3, Glass man. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Man, I had 2 really good ones, and now
What, did I steal them?
no. Well, I was going to talk about Halo, but you took that one. No. So I think that we're going to see Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for Xbox.
Oh, so you think we're finally going to get the 7 remake?
I think we're going to get. So I'm going to do a double square one. We're going to get remake for Xbox, and we're going to see a video for Kingdom Hearts 3 for either PS5 or Xbox, one of the two.
Kingdom Hearts 3, the one that already released?
No,
or
sorry,
Kingdom Hearts 4?
the one that they keep talking about online.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see both of those. There's still a lot of stuff that that Square needs to talk about, right? Like, they announced that Final Fantasy VII Remake's coming to Nintendo Switch 2. There's still no date. Yeah. They've mentioned that Final Fantasy Rebirth is probably coming to Switch 2. Still no date.
Yeah.
There's been the rumor that 16's coming to Xbox, and both of the 7 remakes are coming to Xbox. Still no date. So there's like a lot of unanswered questions on the Square front, and I really do think they need to tell people.
Clarify. I agree, man. I agree. But those are my predictions, man. I think honestly, I don't even know what to with I told you PlayStation, I don't know what to think. With Xbox, I don't either, though. I mean, I know the most logical thing we could get this year is my first one, Forza Horizon. But other than that, anything's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this year, like I said, I feel less hyped than ever, but maybe that's the best way to go into these because I have the lowest expectations I've probably ever had for a summer showcase.
Yeah.
Glassman, we're counting on you, man. You got to excite us. We need you to bring the fire, okay?
Well, when you steal every IP that Xbox has out there. But you didn't mention one active IP that I think might be possible.
Let me mention it.
Sea of Thieves 2 will be announced.
Oh, whoa.
It did
What about Everwild?
Well, Sea of Thieves 2, that's my answer.
Isn't Sea of Thieves it's like an eternal game though? It just keeps going and going. You think they really make like a second one?
I think they would, because you keep it fresh. It's been out quite a few years now. It did extremely well on the PlayStation 5. It gave it a new breath of life, but it also has the entire audience thinking, okay, can we get some updated graphics, an updated look, a feel, something added to Sea of Thieves to modernize it more? Because again, for me, the approach is when I played it, interacted with it, okay, the look, the feel, it just wasn't enough for what I wanted from a pirate game, but it had some of the elements that I was looking for. I would like to see and like to think maybe a Sea of Thieves 2 will be something that could be more approachable for me and more approachable for a large, vast audience on the Switch 2, on the PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series S and X. Because if they do it, if they do make a sequel, because based on the success they had, they could do that. Or you could see Sea of Thieves already on the Switch 2. I believe that's going to be not too far away.
Yeah, I just Sea of Thieves lost me when there was like pretty much no progression elements. That was like the hardest part for me, was like it kind of lacked everything that you'd want in a game, or that I'd want in a game, because I just wanted to have a reason to keep playing, and I feel like it didn't provide that. So I do hope if they make a Sea of Thieves 2, they do that. Unlike you, I don't think it's going to happen. I still think they're going to make Everwild. So I don't think Everwild's like gone. So
Sea of Thieves, I had a good time with that game when it came out. I played several hours of it. Me and my brother and Big Dog would sit there and play. I was
me and your brother and Big Dog. I'm now your brother, so
right. I mean, the lack of progression was kind of weird to me. Like, you're just kind of going from one place to the other and hoping other people didn't board your ship. But also, there's a lot of elements about that game that still are rough, because I did have an instance where people kept boarding my ship over and over again, and they knew where all the spawn points in the boat were. So every time me or the people on the boat would spawn, they'd instantly kill us. So we were stuck in this cycle for like 30 minutes, and finally I was like, I'm done. I'm never coming back to this game again. So there's a lot of flaws with Sea of Thieves, and I would hope if they made a second one that you'd have a progression system, you would have an actual like main game. Like Borderlands is a game you could play forever too, but there is like a story to go with it. Same thing with Elder Scrolls Online, Final Fantasy, what is it, 14? So yeah, I mean, it's possible to have the best of both worlds, and I would hope that they would embrace that if they did a second one.
Yeah, I'd be interested in trying it out if they have all the enhancements that were just described to you.
Anything else
for
from
me?
From the Summer Game Fest, aka the Jeff Keighley Fest.
I think for me, this one's going to come from the Nintendo Direct, and I think we are finally. This is a prediction that I truly don't believe, but I'll predict it anyways and hope I'm right. I think we're finally going to see the Zelda Twin Pack, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Now, do I actually think we'll see this?
It's been rumored for a long time.
No chance in hell, but would I like to see that? Sure. Yeah. Am I going to keep throwing that out there till I die? Sure. It and Earth and Mother 3, Earthbound sequel, I will throw those out as Nintendo will bring them out every single year till I'm dead. Same with Half-Life 3, which is, rumor that could exist this year. So, which I'm surprised Gerald didn't mention the Half-Life 3 as his prediction.
Well, Half-Life 3, because I talked about that already, but I'm hoping Left 4 Dead 3 someday gets announced. That would be really, really exciting. So maybe we'll get that announcement next week. You never know. At the Jeff Keighley Fest, or not E3, should be E3. Really would like it to be E3, but unfortunately is not E3 next week. Bring back E3, please. Just bring back.
Can't Can't we just call it E3? Now, are you, one last question before we wrap up the show today. Are you guys going to watch it? Do you have plans to watch the show?
No, I'll watch the highlights at the end of the day. The Xbox and
Really?
PlayStation, Nintendo stuff, like I'll watch that, like the whole thing. But
I will
the
watch
summer
it live.
gaming thing, I'm just gonna watch the highlights
I'll
probably.
I'll probably flash an article that's updating with all the news on it, and then watch the entire thing maybe like that later that night or whatnot. But
I'll probably flash Phil Spencer. That's what my plan is.
okay,
But
well,
otherwise,
knock
yeah.
yourself out, man. There you go.
Just don't flash
Oh,
Randy Pitchford. I mean, he
oh,
might
man,
like
Randy
that.
Might put it
Pitchford,
on
he'd
a-
like
he
that.
might put it on
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah. We don't use flash drives anymore. He's moved on to the cloud. Okay.
Mike Resney, yeah, he's I
Oh,
yeah,
but
I will
by the
try
way,
to watch them.
Borderlands is only for real fans. So
Yeah, the Borderlands.
There's a lot of
fans
people
are-
getting real mad at him about that comment. Even the
what?
people that play even the Borderland fans are like, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not going to pay $90 for that
you're a
game.
real fan.
Yeah,
Oh, Josh will always pay more.
they
Pay
should
for the
have
Xbox One.
they should have fired that guy years ago.
It's his company.
I know, but there should be like a board
I
of
agree with
directors
you,
that has
but
the power to
they-
get rid of him. But
Publicly traded. Then
It's a publicly traded company that's owned by like
Unless
I think
he-
Take
does
Two.
he have the
unless he owns a majority of the shares,
Well, then
but
there you go. All right.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. Like, yes, should he be fired? Yes. Yes, is his hair fake? Yes. Would I still do that hair surgery that he did? Yes. Would I look as stupid as him? Hopefully not. Yeah, check out a picture of Randy Pitchford. His hair is incredibly fake. And he is a magician, so you know to trust him. Okay,
that's right. He
one-
does magic. Yeah.
dude, just look at a picture of his hair, man. It is definitely. I get it, dude. I get it. I'm gonna go to Turkey too one of these days. Okay, my bros. Well, that was a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see that I'll be right this coming weekend, and you guys will probably be wrong, which is, I mean, it's normal for this show. So, and I'm excited to play my Switch too with Gerald. He's gonna play it online when he buys his.
Resell.
He's buying 3?
Resell. Oh,
No, he's not.
resell.
not gonna
I'll,
resell it
I'll do
anymore.
a stock photo for you. I'll get like somebody playing it in a stock
Oh.
photo and just say, you know what, this is off my eBay resell site. There you go.
Oh,
Nice.
man, he'll get me. Okay, dudes. Talk to you later. Peace.